Morning's legal brief. October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Now, paired with the heightened awareness of harassment issues raised by the Me Too movement, employers are likely to discourage office romances. With us today to discuss, attorneys Russ Brinson and Amanda Cubitt, both from Sodoma Law. Russ, let's start with you because we're talking about possible romances at work. Now, there is such a thing as a love agreement. I'd never heard of this. What is this, and how does it protect both sides? What's this for?
It's for the employer, mostly. It's if an employer learns of an inter-office relationship, first they need to explore whether it's a supervisor and one of their subordinates. And even if it's not, they generally want an agreement just in case the work relationship changes. But a love agreement is established with both parties signing, saying that it's consensual, that there won't be any public displays of affection, and that if anything turns sour or any advances become unwelcome, then they have to notify the employer so that the employer can be protected later in case a harassment issue comes up.
Amanda, let's take it on the family level as well, because I know you practice family law, and this is something that could be applicable whether you meet at work or it's just a typical domestic situation. If a relationship should turn violent, what are some of the steps that need to be taken?
In North Carolina, a victim of domestic violence can seek what's called a domestic violence protective order, and you have to meet certain relationship statuses. So a dating relationship, a marriage, there are a number of relationships that'll qualify, but those certainly do. And in seeking that, a protective order can provide certain safeguards. They can prohibit the abuser from contacting the victim, from going to their residence, threatening them, and even going to their place of work.
Now, you're saying protective order. Is that the same thing as a restraining order?
Yes and no. It's called a protective order in North Carolina. It's what we commonly think of as a restraining order, but there are a couple different ways that a domestic violence protective order is only going to apply if you meet those relationship criteria.
Now, Russ, let me ask you then, if the two do work together, certainly that complicates things because it would have to go, you know, if you're both at the same place, unless one of you works from home, does that sometimes tie in terms of who can go to work and how close you can be to each other or speak to each other, have contact at work?
Absolutely, and if there's a protective order, the employer must know, because if they happen to work together and they're at two different facilities and can both be employed, then that's one situation. But if there's a certain space that doesn't apply or you can't have both of them there, then yeah, that usually results in termination or suspension of the party that can't be around.
Well, again, as we said, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, so important things for both employers and employees and just individuals to know. So we appreciate y'all coming in and telling us. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for having us.
All right, coming up, we got Harvey Cummings in studio with us this morning. We will find out what he is up to after the break. Come back.